Last year, 69% of American adults had less than $1,000 in their savings account, and that, my friend, is really eye-opening. So how do we go from zero to saving up $10,000 inside of 1 year or even faster? Now look, I know this probably sounds impossible to many of you guys out there, especially if you're starting from zero and living paycheck to paycheck. But I have done this myself and seen it repeatedly throughout lots of friends and lots of other people that I've helped. And it all really comes down to following some simple steps that we are going to discuss today. So the first thing you need to do is marry rich. All right, I'm pretty much kidding about that one because if you look like me, that's not possible because I'm not that good looking. So the real first step is to set an actual goal to save $10,000. But don't just say you want to save 10K. Actually write it down and post it somewhere. I mean, stick it on your refrigerator, write it in your daily planner if you use one of those. Heck, I have even written my goals on mirrors before so I could see it every morning. But write it down, and here's the reason why you have to do that. We have all set goals or been inspired or got an idea to do something, but we never actually took the step of actually writing that down. So a lot of times we'll fail to even actually meet those goals or even start on the journey towards those goals. And then if you're anything like me at all, a big reason why that happens is because we lose motivation and then we just get caught up with doing other stuff and living life per se and never coming back to those goals. But the reality is you are over 40% more likely to achieve your goal if you write it down. So just take a minute and think about the why this is so important for you to save $10,000 and then write it down. Having that 10K will alleviate stress and you won't be living paycheck to paycheck anymore. And if you get fired, which sucks, but if it happens to happen, it won't put you into debt immediately to just basically try to survive that transition to your next job. You basically have a cushion there to help you get through it all. So regardless of if your why is to have a cushion or to get out of debt or to start investing so that way you can become financially free, once you know what that why is behind it, write it down and put it somewhere where you will see it constantly. My goals are very, very different now, but I still write them down and the why along with it. So let me give you guys a real example for this venture right here of the goal and the why behind why I have this channel. I have a goal to grow this channel to 100,000 subs. And the reason behind that is so I can help you realize that retirement or financial freedom is possible and just a few years away. If you are 25 or even 65, you can still get there. There is hope, guys. You can absolutely get there. You just have to avoid the traditional approach that the 99% take that you've probably been told your whole life, which is why most cannot retire and are not financially free. Ever notice that, right? Everybody that talks about retirement or, the traditional way of doing things, most people aren't actually there in regards to achieving that. You have to think outside the box and understand a much different game that is being played. And that is kind of the bigger aim for this channel, is to expose all that to you guys. So that way you can hit those goals and actually make it attainable and tangible, as opposed to what we've all been told in the past, which obviously has not worked for the vast majority of us. So make sure you subscribe so you can get help and achieve your goal of retiring early or being financially free or independent. And you will also help me achieve my goal as well. This kind of creates a win-win relationship between you and I, which I cannot wait to take this journey with you guys. So the next step is to put your money somewhere where you can't get to it, because let's be honest here, guys, you will be tempted to spend it if it's too easy to access it. We are forming financial habits here right now. And just saving money one time isn't a habit, so we have to kind of help ourselves, especially if you have a problem always dipping into your money. If you're going paycheck to paycheck, that's a problem there. So we basically have to make it not easy for you to get to it so that way you're not tempted. Basically, before we get into exactly where the money's going to come from to go into that account, you got to decide where the money is going to go, since once you have it, you have to actually hang on to the money and have a place to put it. And I would personally recommend putting those funds in a separate high-interest savings account, which right now are paying around 5%, which of course also helps you hit that goal of $10,000. So if that's kind of separate from your normal accounts, it's kind of a way so that a way you can't, get immediate access to it if there's an impulse that comes up or something that you just, those impulse buys that absolutely kill your budgets. And it also makes it much easier to just pretend like it doesn't exist because you're not seeing it every day whenever you log into your bank account or whatever the case is. There are a ton of online savings accounts that pay a great rate, so just set one up that meets your needs and go for it. The next step is to use a side hustle to earn extra money, and keeping all that money that you earn from that side hustle and putting it away into that savings account. Matter of fact, it should never even hit your regular account. Just have it direct deposited over into that savings account. I have had more side hustles turn into $1 million plus revenue generators than I've had W-2 jobs that just earn me 6 figures. So I personally think it's one of the best ways to earn some extra money and really have that thing that catapults you into building wealth and getting yourself out of debt, And oh, by the way, has a chance to really turn your life completely upside down and turn into a 7 or 8 figure revenue generator. Just look at this YouTube journey for me right here. I started YouTube as a side hustle based on a challenge from an employee from another business that I owned, that I actually started that business as well for my side hustle. That kind of basically turned into a huge operation and a full-time gig. And now YouTube has turned kind of into a full-time thing for me now. I kind of turned that business over to other folks, and now I'm doing this full-time. I have a whole other channel that is just stock market related, and that is in the description down there. And I'll also put a link to it in the pinned comment as well, that I kind of originally started with. And I'm now making videos full-time on that channel. I have a private investing group that is thriving and really growing, and we're making I just love that group. It's so much fun. We're doing so much in there. And I just recently started this channel to branch out into discussing less about stocks and more about retirement and financial freedom, and kind of the whole picture we talked about earlier about kind of redefining what that actually looks like and what's actually possible. Now, you might only work a couple hours a week on your side hustle, but they can actually pay you a lot of money for those hours that you do work, depending upon kind of what you choose to do. Obviously, YouTube starts out at $0, but I make a lot of money now per hour as we've kind of gone through this whole thing, and as I kind of branched out into other business opportunities that have come from this YouTube channel. Some other examples are flipping things on Craigslist or Facebook Marketplace, and honestly, with a little bit of research, this is not that hard to do. Just research it right here on YouTube. I mean, heck, Gary Vee does garage sale flipping, and he makes millions of dollars a year from everything else he does, but he still goes basically garage sale flipping because he enjoys to do it, and to show real people out there how easy it is to do it and make real money. And hey, I got it. If YouTube isn't your thing, post on Twitter or on Instagram, as there are so many different ways to monetize beyond just ads. I know several people that make high 6-figure and 7-figure incomes just on IG or Twitter respectively. And no, they're not doing OnlyFans or anything else like that. They're just out there talking about and posting about what they love and what they have a deep understanding in. And it's managed to turn into those type businesses long term. The only thing you have to do is to actually learn it, but more importantly, stick with it over the long term and keep learning as you're going. Now, the next step to all this is to get cheap. This has been the number one thing that has completely changed my life, and that's because I valued and scrutinized every dollar that went out in regards to spending. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about foregoing actual needs or only eating one meal a day to save money or anything else like that. But I'm talking about looking at every dollar you spend and looking for stuff like that $100 tab for dinner instead of eating at home, or that $50 bar tab that happens more often than you probably like to admit, or why are there 27 charges a month from Amazon on my card? I make my coffee at home versus Starbucks every other day or every day? Do I really need all the subscriptions I have, or could I cancel a couple of them and work on my side hustle instead of watching whatever the heck I get with those subscriptions? Did I need it, or did I not need it? You won't know until you analyze and get cheap, and that is where the 7-day rule comes into play. So what is the 7-day rule, you may ask? Basically, anything that is not food, water, or shelter, or an immediate need like a flat tire or something like that, I will wait 7 days to actually make the purchase. What I have found is inevitably by the time that entire week comes up, I don't want it as much as I did before, or maybe I found a cheaper alternative, or I realized how much it impacts my goals because I did the actual analysis during that week because, I wrote down that goal in the first place, so it reminded me to do that. And I'm reminded of that goal, and I figured out it wasn't my best option and it wasn't getting me there. But no matter what it is, as long as it's not an actual need, wait 7 days to analyze the purchase and then decide from there if there's an actual need, number one. And then number two, can you buy it and still stay on track towards that goal of $10,000? Or does it sidetrack you from that goal of getting to $10,000? And this video right up here gives you some unusual tips of saving even more money to help you get to that $10,000 goal. I agree, our system is broken, and this channel is about showing you the truth behind finance, retirement, and entrepreneurship. So make sure you subscribe whether you're 25 or 65. This applies to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.